You can make that a really fun interview tactic and just be like 3 hours before, hey, I need you an hour before our scheduled interview and see how they handle it.
That is so bad.
Not a tip. Don't do that to people.
What not to do. I'm Monica Hollins.
I'm Lauren Brown.
I have about 25 years building community with both private and government entities.
And for more than 15 years, I've been creating events and experiences from corporate gatherings with 5,000 to 6,000 people to neighborhood events through HOAs and lifestyle.
About 15 years in HOA management, starting as a lifestyle director and moving to a community manager. But the entire time really focusing on building that community all the way through.
I'm currently the program director for a leading developer in Idaho.
I started my own company, Outside the Box Consulting. That's where I really work with developers on one end to make sure that we're building amenities that are intentional and that are going to be activated. And then on the flip side, I work with HOA management companies and I train lifestyle directors. And I have to say that's one of my favorite things I get to do.
I really just truly believe that lifestyle is the heartbeat of a community, and I'm really excited that I get to do that day in and day out, and I'm excited to chat about it with you and all of our lifestyle friends.
We are so incredibly excited to welcome everyone to our first podcast, and especially our lifestyle directors or lifestyle curators or director of fun, whatever your title is. We are excited to be here with you today. We are going to share a little bit about who we are and what brought us here today. And then we're going to share some stories of our own, and we'll share a tip with you before we wrap. Before we dive into everything that I just discussed, Lauren, what have you been doing this summer?
Traveling. I just got back from a 16-day vacation, so I am well rested.
Is it really a vacation? I mean, granted,
No,
you
I
have
was
to
traveling
take
with my
vacation.
4-year-old.
Exactly.
Okay, so I was just parenting in another city, but I had the benefit of my siblings, so cousins and aunts and uncles, to help parent the child. So that was good.
That's awesome.
But yeah, just soaking up the sun and enjoying all the outdoor things there are to do in Idaho. And yeah, what about you?
I love it. You know, we hit the ground running the beginning of the summer. Like, we went to Oregon for 3 weeks because I had
Love Oregon.
Oh, so pretty. I'm biased because that's where I'm from. But we went there for a couple of things. My mother-in-law had this celebration that we all flew in for. And then my family and I had a week with my brother on the coast. And then we came back to celebrate my niece's wedding. So that's our 3-week tour of
awesome.
Oregon.
So you did the big vacation too.
We did. And it was right up at the beginning and just took me a while to kind of get back into the swing of things.
How many suitcases did you have?
We each had one large suitcase.
Oh, okay. Fine.
We could do laundry.
Okay.
We were able to do laundry. So how many did you have, Lauren?
I left with 6 and came back with 8.
Wow. Now, did you just pick up some random stranger's suitcases or?
I wish I could say that. No, it was my daughter's birthday. So my family just, even though we were like, hey, we're traveling, let's go light on the gifts. No, didn't happen. So she was absolutely spoiled by both sides of the family because we saw my family and then my husband's family. And they never get to see her on her birthday. So it was cool and
That's awesome.
worth it. So.
Oh, that's
she definitely helped unpack those suitcases.
Oh, I bet she did. Mom, I got this.
Yeah, I got this one. No. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that is so much fun to have a traveling summer vacation birthday. That'd be a lot of fun. Well, let's go ahead and dive in and tell our listeners who we are. And I want to kind of throw it to you and let them hear about who you are and how you got to be here.
Cool. Well, I'm going to start off by being completely authentic with you, Monica, as well as all of our listeners. Public speaking is my area for improvement. So, with that being said, I just want everybody to kind of bear with me as we work through this, but I care so deeply about supporting the professionals in this industry that, you know what, we'll just set that aside. I'll figure it out along the way, but I really want to focus on getting resources to our people.
Definitely.
So Lauren Brown's my name. I'm a program lifestyle director for a local developer in Idaho. I have been in the event planning industry for 15 plus years. So I've seen a lot. And then the development industry for 7 of those years and doing the lifestyle thing. But what I really want to do is talk about why I'm here doing the Lifestyle Unplugged podcast with you.
Yes, please.
So I want you to go on a little journey with me. Think about this for a second. We spend our days having countless of interactions with residents, hopefully mostly positive, but I want you to consider like how many people a lifestyle director talks to in a day, and then the ripple effect you have in just one person's life. Now, let's imagine a room full of lifestyle directors and the sheer number of lives being touched by these people. I mean, it's just insane, like the impact we are having in our neighborhoods and our communities. So I think the lifestyle director is often an underappreciated role. And it's a group that deserves so much resources, like so many resources, because of what we are doing. It's more than just event planning. And I think everybody listening here today probably gets that, but you know, let's get it out. Let's get the word out on who we are and what we're doing and how we are shaping the future of communities.
Definitely.
So, I know we don't have all the answers, Monica, but I think the goal is to bring everyone together and figure it out together.
Definitely. And not only are lifestyle directors typically underappreciated, they are typically not given the same resources and training and educational development unless they want to be in operations, right? And then a lot of resources will go into them. But for the typical lifestyle director, there are not many opportunities to really grow and understand our profession and how to get better. So that's my why, is really equipping lifestyle directors, because we've all been there. Like, we have all been, you know, some of us have different experiences, but I can say that my first experience going in and working for an HOA as a lifestyle director was so daunting. It was so scary. And it wasn't because I couldn't do an event. I knew how to do events. But we all know that creating that community lifestyle program in a development in a community is completely different. So we'll jump into all of that as we go. And of course, we don't have all the answers, but we really feel like that you and I feel like we can really use this as an opportunity to share what we do know. And we invite those that, you know, have tips and have their stories and have questions. We want everyone to tune in and, you know, email us and let us know. And we won't use your name if you don't want us to use your name between Lauren and I. But if you want to share a tip and you want us to use your name, we'd love to do that, or possibly even have you on. So I'm going to now explain to everyone who I am. I'm Monica Hollins, and I got started doing events 20 plus years ago. You don't need to know more than that on the how far, you know, long ago. But I started in the HOA industry back in 17, I believe. I mean, 07. I wish. Oh my gosh. I was trying to pretend like I was young. 2007. Anyhow, so what I always say is I've been, creating community for over 20 years. And the reason that is I believe that every event is the opportunity to create community. And
Mhm.
it's all how we look at it. It's all what is our intention behind that event. And so I worked for a management company for about 15 years. And then I went off on my own. And it was super scary, but that was 3.5 years ago. And so far, knock on wood, I'm still going. And the last part of my tenure with the management company I worked with, I was able to work with an amazing developer. And I helped launch 7 communities in 6 years. And I was in charge of all kind of the HOA operations and lifestyle and creating that lifestyle program. So a little bit about me.
Awesome.
And now I coach and help developers and management companies however they see fit. So enough about me. I want to get
Love
into
it.
it. My first question for you, Lauren, because I
Mhm.
really look at this podcast, today's episode is really an opportunity for you, for our lifestyle directors, our listeners, our community leaders to get to know us a little bit better. So
Mhm.
tell me about your like first day at work, or either that or what led to you taking the position that you have.
Wow. Okay, so I was in a really cool position when I got this job. It's more than a job now, but um I was a corporate event planner and I worked for a huge company based out of Denver, and we were planning events for 5,000-6,000 people. I mean, it was just massive. There was a whole team of us. And then my husband got a job in Boise and we relocated here. And I was looking around and I found this job posting for a lifestyle director. And I was like, I have the skill set. But the more I learned about it and just kind of looked into it, I was like, this is so cool because one, I can use the skills that I already kind of have. But two, I get to learn something new and create it because the company I came to um, was just branching into the lifestyle world, which kind of dives back into my why because I started and they were like, cool, have fun. And I was like, huh? Like, any training, nothing. There's no roadmap. And I think so many lifestyle directors feel like that you just start and they're like, okay, what? Like I just plan an event or like what do I do? So
Yes, yes. So relatable.
yes. So just kind of that's how I got here. But then the more I got to know my residents, oh, like they became my why. I mean, my first community was a 55 and up, and I have like hundreds of grandparents now because like I love them all, and they became so invested in my life because they were in my life when I got married and had my daughter. So it's really cool how you just get to like immerse yourself into these communities.
Today's show is brought to you by OTBC LLC, Outside the Box Consulting. From pre-development through launch and ongoing operations, OTBC aligns amenity strategy with real resident needs, builds programming and communications frameworks, and delivers lifestyle director training both one-on-one and team cohorts. Want higher engagement and smoother operations? Start at consultingoutsidethebox.com. We bring communities to life. OTBC LLC is owned by co-host Monica Hollins, and we are proud to support this show.
I love it. You know, actually, that story takes me to a story that I wanted to share because I remember starting. It's so funny. I can like remember it so clearly. Like I know exactly where I was in the building, and I mean, because it was so what had happened was is that I was training and there was this event and I didn't understand how simple it was. Meaning that I was doing these large events for a private health club prior to jumping
Mhm.
into my role. And so everything was really kind of high dollar, and just very kind of fancy for the lack of a better word, right?
Right.
And I remember the first event, I was told they're just having a picnic. And I said, well, what about that? Like, just a picnic? Like, I mean, help me understand this. Like, I was having, like, my brain could not wrap around the simplicity
You just
of
want to
that.
overplan it.
Yeah, I was like, why? Why are we just having a picnic? Like, I don't understand. And I remember the corporate lifestyle director at the time happened to come in. I think she was touring someone around. And I was like, I'm so glad you're here. And I just like dumped everything. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to figure this out, but I don't know. And the look she gave me was just like,
Oh no.
whoa. Like, and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have like did like I was like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I should have asked somebody else. But I'll just her expression was like, she had no idea, right? I mean, she was the corporate lifestyle director. She helped a lot of different communities, and I don't know. I think about that all the time because that to me summarizes the need for this for our podcast.
No, and you know what? I agree because like that takes me back to my first event. I overplanned the heck out of that. And it was just a happy hour. And I was like, what kind of flowers are we going to have? Like, what kind of like hors d'oeuvres and drinks? And like, are we going to have red wine and white wine and blah, blah, blah. And my boss was just like, just have a happy hour.
Yes. Right. Like
maybe some name tags.
It's so funny because I look back at just the fear of failure, right? Mm-hmm. It was what I was freaking out because I did not want to fail and I didn't want to let down the community. And I was trying to prove myself, right? Like, here's this new lifestyle director coming in, is she going to understand what we're doing? And that kind of leads me into this other story that it goes right up on that is I remember getting a call that first week. The gentleman said, I'm extremely offended that you're having a picnic at sundown and on Yom Kippur. We cannot eat at sundown. Are you trying to exclude us on purpose? Now, I had just come from a, community, private health club, and we celebrated Jewish traditions. We celebrated Christian traditions. So I was very familiar with that, but I hadn't planned this, right? Like I was stepping into it. It was my first week. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for bringing it to my attention. Let me kind of figure some stuff out. So I remember going over to my community manager, amazing guy. And I was like, so I just got this email, this message and I agree with him. I don't think we should have it. If we're just throwing out like toys and people bring their own lunch, like there's nothing we have to worry about canceling, really.
Right.
And, I said my case and he goes, okay, call your social committee together for a meeting and, chat it out with them. Let them know, your decision. I was like, okay. I had yet to meet the social committee. So I was like, perfect opportunity.
Right.
Lauren, this is another one. I know exactly where I was standing. So I'm all like dressed up all corporately, like looking all polished, my little pencil skirt and looking all ready to meet my social committee. And they come in and I have the door open and I'm shaking hands as they're coming in. And this lady, God bless her, she comes in and she looks at me and she goes, we have this thing called the train. And when the train's derailed, it's bad. Right now, the train's derailed. Oh, nice to meet you. Like, what do you say to that? I am like, I have never dealt with a social committee. I was petrified. I was like, oh no, what is going to happen? They all sit down and it was probably like 12 social committee members. It was a strong social committee. Oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And they were like, nope, we're not changing it. This is ridiculous. You're not changing it for one person. I'm like, no, I'm sure there's other people, it's just a respect. We really want to be inclusive. And they were just peppering me. Like they were drilling me. And finally I was just like, listen, do you really think that I want to walk in here my first week and do this? Let's think about that. And then they sat back and they're like, no, probably not. I'm like, no, I don't. And I was like, I will do everything to make sure people know that we rescheduled it to the following weekend. And so I did. And I said, I will even be there the day of our original date, just in case no one, they don't get the memo. And so the day that it was supposed to happen, I was there. We had the worst, this is in Arizona, we had the worst monsoon storm. It was crazy. And I was like, thank you, God. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, this just makes me feel so much better.
Did the right thing.
Yeah. The following week, we had more people than they had ever had at an event.
Wow.
And it's just because I was so determined to make sure
Right.
everyone knew. So I put flyers everywhere. So yeah.
Right.
So, I think it also is a lesson about, taking a lemon and making lemonade out of
Right.
all of our experiences.
And also, don't let social committees scare you.
They scare me sometimes.
I know. They're terrifying, but
no,
at the same time, they're hilarious.
Okay. Yes, I will say I love my social committee. That social committee, I am still in touch with a lot of them to this day.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
The people who couldn't, that said that were my biggest supporters. The train, she was one of the biggest supporters. So yes, I loved my social committee, but you have to understand what your role is in the social committee when you're brand new, how to get to know your member.
Mm-hmm. And set boundaries.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'm sure that's an episode in itself. Boundaries.
Yeah. And then what to do, what not to do when you first start at a community. Mm-hmm. I think this is probably a good time to let our listeners know that we actually wrote down probably over 60 topics.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still growing.
Like 5 minutes.
Yes, in 5 minutes. You and I were on our Google Doc.
It's so easy to be like, oh, we got to talk about this and this. I mean, so many things. There's so much we want to bring to everybody. And I'm excited to do it.
Me too. So what is your best story?
I honestly, so when I was trying to think of a story for today, I just get caught up on this one story just because it captures the why for what we do so completely. So we have this resident in one of our 55 and up communities, and her son died several years ago. And when she moved in, she was like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to be here. My husband told me I had to get out of that house. He died 5 years ago, the son. And so here I am, but I don't want to do anything. And we were like, okay, well, when you're ready, let us know. And I had a different lifestyle director in that community, and she was just really great. Like, whenever you're ready, we'll come see me. We'll get ideas, whatever you want to do. So a couple months go by, she comes back to the lifestyle director and is like, I'm ready. Turns out this lady used to like run her own shop and make wreaths and just impressive crafts and stuff. So now she's on the social committee and she leads all these events and crafts. And she came up to me after one of the first ones and was like, I just want you guys to know that the person I was before my son died, I thought she was dead too. And you helped me find her again. And she feels like she found her life again, and that she's able to get out and make friends and socialize. And, it just it gives me chill bumps now just thinking about it. It's like, that is what we do. That is why we do it, because we are helping people thrive in their lives, to find that passion, we're just giving them the tools and saying, what's working for you, right? We're going to offer all kinds of things. Everything doesn't work for everybody, but there will be something for somebody, or something for everybody, I should say. And I think it's really cool that we get to be part of that.
I agree so much. I love that story. I mean, it's extremely sad that she
Right.
lost her son. But I mean, that's what we do, right?
Right.
Everyone that is a lifestyle director or curator, there's so many titles. I'm just
Right.
going to go on record and say we're going to use lifestyle director and let that apply to all, because that's the
Right.
old school name and we're going to go with it. We're going to just keep it old school.
Love it.
So, but I think that captures, you know, why community is so important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know that social isolation is a huge epidemic, and a lot of it is with our older generation because of that. Maybe a spouse dies or a child dies, whatever it may be,
Mm-hmm.
and they just feel like they've lost themselves or they just don't know how
Right.
to function. And so what your team did about saying, you know what, when you're ready, we're here.
Right.
You kept the door open, and when she was ready, she came all out. Like,
Yes.
that is awesome.
I know. I love it so much. I think it's so cool. And I know that there are stories like that probably multiple times within every community. And the fact that she was so willing to share that with me, I'm so grateful for that. And I wish that I could hear everybody's story, but yeah, that's why we do it. That's why we're all out there, right?
Definitely.
Just making a difference.
Definitely. And that's why we want to hear the lifestyle director stories, right?
Sure.
Not only is it, can we either find humor or a nugget of perseverance, whatever that story might, you know, pull out of us. But what I believe stories do is it really gives us an opportunity to learn from one another, and to relate to each other, right? It's like, oh yeah, like I've been there.
I've been there.
I have had that happen.
I have that resident.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why the stories are so important. That's why we're asking everyone to submit their stories, because we can learn a lot from them.
And actually, let me say one thing, Monica,
Yeah,
that
please.
like for the lifestyle, it could be, it's such an isolating role. I have to tell all of the listeners this, like how giddy I was to meet you. And
Aw.
to meet somebody that speaks the same language. I mean, I guarantee there are listeners out there going, oh, okay, like somebody does know what I'm talking about, because like these words that we use, like it's just so normal for us. And I'll go into a room full of developers and they're like, what? And you know, it's just so cool to get around our tribe, you know. Just I think that's what makes this podcast super cool, and I'm really excited to connect with everyone so that we can just be each other's sounding board and know what the heck we're talking about.
Agreed. And for everyone, we have to give a shout out to April at Alisant.
Oh, for sure.
Because the way you and I like officially met each other was on a podcast for Lifestyle Director Connect. Yeah. Right? Like that was the first time we had heard each other's voices. And then I was like, hey, you want to start a podcast? You're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
And you and I just connected. Like once we like had that, like you and I just connected over what our industry is all about and what we do. And so I think that's really special. But April, thank you so much for.
Yes. Thank you, April.
Yes, we couldn't thank you enough. So, you know, we've shared some stories, but what about a tip? Now, there's going to be a lot of tips.
Sure. This is my go-to tip for anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place.
Love it.
Ask questions.
Oh, thank you, God. Yes.
Never be the expert. Like I mean, I've been in this industry for 7 years, events for 15 plus years, and I still go to an event and I'm like, ooh, I don't feel like I know anything. And it helps me learn so much because I always learn. Somebody else is always doing it better. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, ask questions. Ask questions of your team, your developer, your all of that, but also ask your residents questions.
Yes,
they love to talk. So like learn about them, and then you're going to know what kind of events that you need to create to speak to your demographic. I think every community has a different personality. We oversee 3 or 4 right now. And with lifestyle, And each one has such a unique personality.
Yes.
So it is so important to ask questions, get to know the people that you are working with and working for.
I love that. I tell people that asking questions is a sign of leadership.
Mm-hmm.
It is not something to be ashamed of. I used to oversee, I don't know, like 7 different lifestyle directors at one time,
Mm-hmm.
and at various different communities. And we'd have these calls, and I would, any questions. And you'd have some people that were really good about asking the questions, and other people just shied away because they felt like it was a sign that they didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
That's not it. Like,
not at all.
That's why we're here, right? Like, that's why we're helping you. That's why we're talking. And so asking questions is vital.
Yes.
I love that. That's such a good nugget.
Lifestyle Unplugged is sponsored by OTBC LLC, Outside the Box Consulting. Amenities only matter if people use them. OTBC partners with developers, HOAs, and management teams to map the resident journey, launch clubs, activate spaces, and measure results that matter. We also coach lifestyle directors through one-on-one sessions and team training tracks so they can plan, market, and execute programs residents love. Ready to turn nice amenities into real community value? Visit consultingoutsidethebox.com. We bring communities to life. OTBC LLC is owned by co-host Monica Hollins, and we are proud to support this show.
What's your tip?
Follow your gut. I can't tell you how many, calls I would get, and they're like, we're supposed to have an event today. Everything's supposed to be, set up outside. What do we do? And I'm like, what's your gut telling you? After we talk about all the specifics and backup plans, all that kind of stuff, they're trying to figure out, do they pull the trigger and go to the backup plan, right? But I always say, follow your gut. Your gut will never steer you wrong. Every time I followed my gut, and every time my lifestyle team members followed their gut, they were right on the money each and every time. And I think that sometimes is overlooked because you don't have a scientific explanation of why you were going to move it inside. You don't have this like, well, because of this, because a lot of times you don't know, like, especially in Florida, for the Florida peeps, like,
oh gosh, yes.
2:00, like clockwork, thunderstorms, right?
Right.
Or a thunderstorm can just pop up anytime, and they have to be able to pivot pretty quickly. And so that's kind of where I always say, follow your gut, because of your experience, because of what you bring to the table, whether it's, former event planning or just knowing your residents, what to do. So just do that. And don't overthink it.
And no matter what you do, you're going to have residents and attendees that are going to say, wow, I'm so glad you did that. That was the right thing. And you're also going to have someone that just, why'd you do that? And they're going to be angry. And just know you're never going to get it right 100%. It does not exist. So you just have to take those people that were less than pleased and use that feedback to help your gut the next time.
That's exactly it. You can't make everybody happy. That was a good lesson to learn in HOA management. You can't make everybody happy.
It's impossible.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to ask you, when you are looking to hire a lifestyle director, what are you looking for?
Personality. I think just how I started off today by saying I'm going to be my authentic self. I want my lifestyle directors to be their authentic selves. Because nothing's going to resonate more with your residents than being you, and nothing's going to turn them off more than you trying to be somebody you're not. So I think skills of a lifestyle director, such as planning an event and booking vendors and stuff, that's all trainable. We can train that. It's who you are and how you handle yourself, as well as pressure, pivoting. You got to be able to pivot.
Yes, I used to ask when I would interview lifestyle directors, are you flexible? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you plan an entire event and then, the developer says, we can't do it because of ABC or whatever happens, cancels it. Are you flexible? Can you pivot? And it's interesting. I did have some people go, no, I would not be okay with that. I poured everything into it. Now they didn't get the job because
at least they were honest.
Yeah, because they wouldn't be happy. Like, and I think that is so different than, typical event planning. Because it's usually based on the event, right? And there's a lot less that's going to kind of get in the way of taking that out. But there's so many variables in community development.
You're gonna have to pivot.
You have to pivot, and you have to have a good attitude about it.
Right.
And I think that is really important for our lifestyle directors to understand is you have to be flexible. You have to be understanding that, when you are planning an event, making sure you're communicating with the community manager, your developer, if you have one, your board, that communication is really important so that you know how the event's going to progress, especially like, I think where it happens, where the cancellations can happen more often is when you are working with a developer on marketing events, right? And maybe it's going to just rain and they're like, that's not worth our marketing money to try to make it happen if no one's going to be there. So you got to roll with the punches.
You can make that a really fun interview tactic and just be like 3 hours before, hey, I need you an hour before our scheduled interview, and see how they handle it.
That is so bad.
Not a tip. Don't do that to people.
What not to do. But very funny. Yeah, you're like, so yeah, we need to see you an hour earlier. And then you call back. No, never mind. We're still on. Nope.
Yeah. And then see how frazzled they are when they show up.
Yeah. Either that or how desperate they are for a job. It'll be one of the two, right? Oh my goodness. That is so funny. Oh my gosh. It's amazing what is needed for a lifestyle director to know.
Oh my gosh. Everything.
Which is really different than a lot of other positions. I
mean, I had a lady call me once and ask me if I was going to come wash her windows. I was like, wasn't planning on it.
I know. I think that I will say this. I think the lifestyle director role is such a unique role. And I say this all the time. And I say this to my clients that lifestyle directors are the first one from a management standpoint that the residents really cling on to.
Yes.
Because we're not writing violations for their garbage cans, right? We're not, we're the happy people. Like we don't like making people mad. We like, making people happy. And so with that, there is that trust that builds up. And I think that is something really important. We'll talk about that later, but the trust that you have with your residents is crucial. But they also come in and they share a lot with us and they feel very comfortable with us. Yeah. And so sometimes, there could be, opportunities where you're like, okay, what do I do with this information?
Right.
Should I call the police? Should I?
That reminds me of one of my favorite stories. Can I share
let's hear it. Yes, please do.
I had a resident call me once and she was like, Lauren, who lives in house number, I don't know, 74?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have it memorized. I'm not sure. Why? What's up? She's like, I think their house is on fire. Cool. You should hang up and call 911.
Yes.
She wanted me to call and check on them. I was like, no. If you think their house is on fire, we need to hang up. She's like, no, hang on. And I hear her put the phone down and she leaves the house. And I'm just sitting there like, hello? Do I need to call 911? And then she picks up the phone. She's like, I walked down there. It was her dryer. It was just steaming. It's really cold out. I was like, oh, good. The next time, call 911.
Yes.
I love it.
I mean, I think anyone in HOA management right now, whether a lifestyle director or not, can relate to that story.
Yes.
I mean, I have so many stories where I'm like, you really should have called 911 before you called me. Like,
Yes.
I mean, okay, we're getting ready to, we're running kind of short on time, but
Sure.
you just kind of triggered this, and I have to share the story because
Do it.
baffled. So this is when I was a community manager, and I lived very close to my property. It was a condo.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a call like at 7 a.m. From my janitorial team. And she's like, Monica, there's blood all over the lobby. I'm like, what?
Oh no.
There's blood all over the lobby. And, such and such and such and such residents are all sitting down here in the lobby.
Okay.
I'm like, why? Like, did you guys call the police? No, we wanted to call you first. And I was like, okay, we need to call the police and I'll be right there. So I'm in my PJs, right? It takes me 2 minutes to get there. I get there and it looked like a dead body had been drugged.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. From the bathroom to the elevator.
And she called you.
Yeah. Yeah. So much blood. So I get there and I'm like,
oh my gosh,
we need to get out of this building. Like,
yeah.
We don't know who this is. We don't know what's going on. So we all need to exit and wait for the police to come. Now, thankfully, it was no one that had been murdered in our building. Murders in the building. That's a good show, by the way. But it was someone that had seriously injured themselves, knocked himself unconscious after having something to drink. That's why there was so much blood, and like kind of drug his own body to his unit.
Gosh.
Yeah. And so paramedics came and, took care of him and all that stuff. But I always think of that and I'm like, our residents look at us as a problem solvers.
Right.
Yeah. I used to have to tell people, leave on my voicemail, if there's a medical emergency, please call 911.
I have that on my voicemail.
Yes.
The developer side, they're like, what emergency do you have in lifestyle? I'm like, well, I shouldn't have any, but people will call me because something has happened.
I love it. Oh, we could go on.
I could. Yeah.
This is so funny. So what we are asking everyone to do is like our podcast, share it with other people. You can find us on, majority of the platforms that have podcasts available, like Spotify and Apple. And we want to hear from you. Our website is lifestyleunpluggedpodcast.com. You can jump on there. We have a little area that you can go in and enter any kind of questions and we'll send to us. You can even attach certain files if you need to.
Pictures welcome.
Yes. Pictures are welcome of funny things. Or if you have a tip and it's better, it's easier to show via a picture, send that on over. We just want to hear from you. If you are a developer lifestyle duo, we'd love to hear from you. We want to be able to feature those types of teams because we believe, lifestyle, a lot of times it's a developer that's bringing us in.
Right.
And so we want to celebrate those developers that bring us into the fold.
If you are on LinkedIn, check out Lifestyle Director Connect. It's really the same thing, just as a lifestyle or as a LinkedIn group. It is a spot for us to drop ideas, stories, tips, things like that. So send them to the podcast. And then if you have an article you want to share or something like that, head over to LinkedIn and join that group and let's start sharing them there as well.
Yes, please. And I have to just address one thing is our colors. Like we had this color before we knew Taylor Swift had the color. Like, let's just go on record on that.
Yes, but we were listening to our gut. We knew Taylor Swift. We were in our podcast era.
But we're right on trend here. Taylor, thank you so much for endorsing our orange.
Yes.
And with that, I will have some good Taylor Swift nuggets from her podcast that she did, because she said some really good things that I think that incorporate into what we do on a daily. So I'll share that for our next podcast. But
Love that.
And until then, I am Monica.
And I'm Lauren.
And we will see you soon.
Next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye.